Bjørn from Physio Innovation. Today's video is about shoulders and some tips and tricks to become a little bit more aero. You see already from the front I've got a hard time myself to become aero, train too much upper body, c'est la vie. But there are some methods actually to minimize this whole upper part if you want to become faster on the bike. It does require a lot of training and some specific exercises, I would say, during biking, also off biking. So core training, exercise bands, elastic bands, balls, exercise balls, many things, pulleys. There are a lot of exercises you can try and add to become a little bit stronger in order to hold a more aerodynamic position. So for the sake of this, for the purpose of this, of this video, I've put on a more narrow bar. So it's 38, this one, sorry, no, it's actually a 36. So it's really quite narrow, and I would definitely recommend riders, flatland riders, to have somewhat a narrow bar. It all depends on your bike skills, so you need to be honest with yourself. Do you have the bike skills to handle crosswinds? Because when you go more narrow, obviously your center of gravity and so on, it affects everything, and you do have a bit more control when you're a little bit wider with your bars here. So today's video is for people or riders who want to become a little bit more aero. So I'll show you some tricks, and one of the tricks, it's obviously to ride like this. So it's in aerodynamic testing, in wind tunnels, one of the most efficient and most fastest position. You get your underarm away here, so instead of having it up here or here, gets away, and you get it lower with your torso. Another idea, another trick you are trying to train cyclists in doing is getting up with their shoulders like this. So you see this, what's happening? Well, I get narrower, okay? It does require a lot of training up here because you cannot hold this for hours and hours. You just need to kind of relax it, yeah? So getting your shoulders up here, you get more narrow. You see it quite obviously compared to this. It requires training. You could do it with elastic bands, you could do it during winter, integrate it with your winter training on the home trainer. Put some elastic bands here, you can even have them around your whole body. So elastic band going here and trying to train here whilst biking. It's also a good core exercise. A little bit difficult, you need to keep your balance, and does require that you already got a good position so you don't tip off the bike or fall over. Right, so that's some ideas for become more aero. What you also could do is that you give it a little go here on your hoods. I know it's not the most precise what I've just did, but you can measure it after. So for the purpose of this video, I'll just leave it like this. So you see my hoods now, I put them even more inwards. So it gives me an even more narrow position with my upper body. You obviously want to be able to brake easily, okay? So take a look at your hoods. Maybe you could do something here if you're a flatlander, you are looking for a little bit more aero. You see one famous guy who does this, Mark Hirschi, with his hoods in like this, and he becomes more narrow. So an already quite narrow guy becomes even more narrow. Yeah, I think for me it would give me a little bit more percentage. Right, so this video kind of covers those small tips and tricks you can do here with your front part of your bike. Quite easy to do, but you would maybe want to look into another handlebar. Again, be honest with yourself. What's your level of cycling? Do you have the bike handling skills to ride with such a narrow handlebar? Do you have too wide shoulders to go too narrow? How much will it affect your breathing? It's a good question. Sometimes what I see, if you cannot tolerate this, if you don't have the core to hold your body, then it kind of amplifies with too much of an upper breathing. I would call it a superficial breathing. So it gives you too high of a frequency, and it ends up fatiguing you. So one, you need a good core stability to hold your body in an aerodynamic position, a good lower back strength. You would need a good pedaling technique so you don't slide off and end up too much in the front, as I'm doing now. So you want to engage with your glutes to kind of keep you on the saddle, right? Keep you on the saddle, and then, well, you got much less work to do with your upper body instead of sliding forward. Because when you slide forward, you will have much more weight, and more weight gives you more muscle tension in muscles that won't get you really faster forward. It will just increase your whole cardiovascular tension, you can say, and workload. It's not something that is super efficient for a road cyclist. Okay, so those are some of the tips and tricks for today, especially for road bikers living in a flat land, as I come from. I wouldn't recommend this too much for cyclists in the mountains. The too narrow bar, I don't really think it's worth it. You're better off maybe having a little bit more of air here, a feeling of more control, especially during the descents. Right, if you got any questions concerning this, you're more than welcome to write me, and I'll do my best to answer. Let me see, for the next video perhaps I'll try and look at something concerning mountain biking. We'll see. Until then, hopefully you can enjoy some of the last days before winter settles in, and see you in another video.